couple of lessons ago, we learned about how to give people a command. We can give people a command and tell them to do some things, but sometimes people don't have to do what we ask them to do. Or we want to be nice. We need to know how to ask people to do things politely, how to make a polite request. To do this, we need certain kinds of words. We call these words modals, and they help us to say things politely. That's what we're going to learn today. I hope you enjoy the lesson. Before we begin today's lesson, let's review our last one. Do you remember what we did? We were writing letters describing ourselves or describing our friend to someone else. Let's join the class as they begin to review their letters that they wrote.
Good afternoon. How are you? Good. I'm excited that we're all here again together. Before we get into what we're going to learn today, we are going to review what you did in the last class, in the last lesson. So, remember in the last lesson, your teacher received a letter from a friend. And she read the letter, and the letter told her all sorts of things about her friend. Now, I would like you to tell me if you can remember what you wrote yesterday. Do you remember you wrote about a friend yesterday? What friend did you write about, Vika? Do you remember? Did you write about Elmira?
Yes.
And you drew a picture about her, right? Yeah. Do you remember what you wrote about her? I think there were questions, or you answered what kind of food she likes, and you told us where she lives, right? Do you want to tell us about that? Where does Elmira live?
Elmira lives in Denmark.
Very good. And what was another description or thing that you told us about Elmira? Do you remember? I know you don't have your paper with you today. What did she like to eat? Elmira's favorite food?
Food, ice cream, and pizza.
Pizza and ice cream, that's right. And do you remember that you wrote it on the sheet of paper? You wrote a paragraph, right?
Right.
And in the paragraph we were writing descriptions. So we were writing about somebody. This time we were writing about our friends, right? Do you remember who you wrote about yesterday? Which friend? What friend?
Vika, Alina, Katja, Karina.
Wow, yeah, that's good. You had a lot of things written down yesterday about your friends, I remember. Good job. Okay, so that was about writing descriptions. So writing descriptions, describing questions about our friends.
Do you remember what you wrote in your letter last time? Maybe you said how old you are, where you live, how many brothers and sisters you have, the things you like to do, or your favorite food. I'm going to ask you to turn to your friend, a partner, and tell them what you said in your letter when you wrote it last time. Just remind them of what that was. Are you ready? Let's begin. Please stop the video and do the activity. Now let's review a sample of this kind of letter. I will put the letter on the screen and read it for you, and you see if you can read it along with me. You might like to go through this more than once until you're sure that you can read it together with me. All right, are you ready? Let's begin. Dear Misha, my name is Dima. I live in Ternopil, Ukraine. My family lives in a house. I have one brother and one sister. Their names are Sasha and Svetlana. My favorite color is blue. My favorite food is pizza. I like to play computer games. My favorite sport is football. I have a pet dog. He is a beagle. I am 140 centimeters tall. My hair is brown and my eyes are blue. Your friend, Dima. Sometimes you must ask someone to do something, and they don't have to do what you want. So you must ask politely. Or even if they do need to do what you want, you still want to be polite. To be polite is to be nice, to be friendly, and everyone likes that. Every culture finds that it is important to be polite, but every culture and every language has a little bit different way to do it. In English, when we are being polite, we use certain words. We call these words modals. And the modals help us to say things in a way that is nice and friendly. In other words, it is polite. So we call these modals of politeness. Let's join the class as they begin to learn a bit about the modals of politeness.
So today we're going to move on. And what we're going to do today is we're going to learn about something, and I'm going to write it on the board. I'm going to show you the word. We're going to read this together. What does it mean to be polite? Do you know what it means to be polite? Think about that. I'm going to show you an example. Lynn, can I have you come up here with me, please? Come on up. And Elisa, come on up. Okay. I want you to watch how I'm going to talk to the girls, okay? Listen very carefully, okay? Listen to what I say to Lena and listen to what I say to Elisa, okay? Because there's going to be a difference. There's going to be a difference in what I say, okay? Lena, go sit down. Good. Elisa, can you please sit down? What did I say that was different? What did I say to Lena?
No, and please.
Which one did I use please with? I said, who did I say, can you please sit down? I said that to you, right? What did I say to you? I said, go sit down, right? Do you remember in a past lesson we learned about the imperative? We learned about the imperative, which was a command. Go sit down. Get off the bus. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Get off the bus here. Take the bus there. Now, what I did with Lena was I told her, I gave her a command. I said, go sit down. Now with Elisa, I said, can you please sit down? Now, which sentence is more polite? Please. Polite means being very kind, being very nice. So, using the word please is one way that we are polite when we speak to people. For example, I know that in your first language you have words that you say when you want to be very nice. Like you probably say thank you after somebody gives you something, right? Or you say, may I please have some ice cream? Right? You probably do. So that's what we're learning about today. And what we call them is, we call them modals of politeness. Okay, let's all say that together. Let's say this word, modal. Modals of politeness. Now what a modal is, I'm going to explain that to you a little bit. Modals are words that help form a verb phrase. So they go together, they function in a verb phrase. So here we have sit, sit down. That is our verb, right? That's our verb, that's the action that you have to do. So everybody stand up. Now I'm going to say, sit down. Very good. How can I say this more politely?
Can you please?
Oh, I can ask it in a question. I can say, can you please sit down? Or I can just say, please sit down. Right? Is that nicer for me to say? So, can you please stand up? Please sit down. Very good. Now, what is different? I want you to tell me, what is different from saying, please sit down to sit down?
Please sit down like nice.
It's nicer, it's more polite, right? It's more polite. That's right. Very good. Excellent job. So, modals of politeness. Let's look at the words that are up here on the board already. We're going to read them together. Let's look at this first one. What does that say? Please. We just used that one. That's right. This word? May. This word? Would. Would. Yeah. And? Could. This makes a d sound. Could. Okay, so please, may, would, and could. And these are all modals of politeness. For example, if you want to ask me for my pen, you want to say, can I have your pen? But I want you to try to use one of these words. So you might say, yes, may I have your pen?
May I have your pen?
Sure, you may have my pen. You're welcome. Very good manners. Very good manners. Now I'm going to ask for it back. Can I please have my pen back?
Back your pen.
There's my pen back. Thank you. Now, what modal did I use? I used please, and you used the modal may. Very good. How about this one? Could you help me? Could you help me, please? Okay, I'm going to write that on the board. Look. Could you help me? Now that's a question. What word do we see?
Please.
Oh, I didn't write please up there. This time I just asked, could you help me? What is our modal of politeness? Look, could is here, and here's could right there.
Please you help.
Yeah, could you help me? Could help, right? So that is our modal of politeness. I could just say, what could I say?
Help me.
Help me. Is that polite? No. It's not as polite as saying, could you help me? And it's even more polite to say, could you please help me? Right? To add another one. I have one more example, and we're going to use it with the word may. Okay? When you have to go to the washroom and you're at a restaurant, or how about you're at school? How do you ask your teacher to see if you can go to the washroom? What do you say?
Can I go, please?
You can say, can I go? Sometimes we say that. It's even better to say, may I please go to the washroom? I'm going to write that out. May I please go to the washroom? So what are our modals of politeness in this sentence? Which ones?
And may.
Oh, very good. We have two. May I please go to the washroom? Very good. So please is the main one working with the verb right directly close by. Now what about this word would? Would. Would you please come over here?
Yes.
Okay, come over here. Would you please sit down? Thank you. So would we use similarly as we use could. So those ones are asking, again, we're asking if you can do something, okay?
Let's look a little bit more at how we use some of these modals. Two of these modals refer to me, the person speaking. Two of them refer to the person I'm speaking to you, if it's you. The words may and can are the ones that refer to me. They both ask permission to do something. The word may, as in may I come in, asks permission to do something. It's a proper and formal way to ask permission. This is the very polite way. The word can, actually the word can has a different idea. It means that I have the ability to do something. I could say, I can swim. I can play the piano. But we will often use the word can to ask permission, the same way we would use the word may. But we use the word can in a more casual way. It's more with my friends. So if I'm at someone's house and I don't know them well, I'm trying to be more polite, more proper, I would say, may I come in? If I'm at my friend's house, I would say, can I come in? It's more casual. Then we have the modals would and could. Both of these describe the other person. I am asking you to do something. I would say, would you pass me the bread? Could you give me some water? And in both of these cases, I'm asking you to do something. It's a polite way and a nice way to ask you to do something. Now, with both of these words, actually with all four of these words, they come just before the subject. May I come? Can I come? Or would you pass? Could you give? With all of these, they come just before the subject that is doing the action. There's another modal that we're